Welcome back, y'all. This morning I'm finishing up the Snowflake that we all started yesterday. I figured for this video I might do a little bit less talking and focus more on the sounds, or just allow for a quieter, more simplistic video. I like to watch ASMR videos with talking, but sometimes I also really enjoy a video just with the simple, quiet sounds of the task or whatever the ASMR artist is doing. So, that being said, I'm just gonna plug away at this diamond snowflake craft. Look how quickly I just finished that little snowflake. I really locked in on that one. Now I'm going to start on this big area that has a lot of A diamonds, which is this dark blue navy color that I think is really striking, really beautiful. I'm wondering if I should start from the inside out or the outside in. Maybe the inside out, I think, makes the most sense. This one over a bit. There we go. I have this first little section of this big snowflake done. This has 6 of these all around it. Oh, I like that sound. Sometimes I don't get these on perfectly, and then it's about moving them back as easily as possible. In my stylus, I'm still using the same bit of wax from yesterday, from our wax caddy. See, there's a little hole there. Where I cut the wax out like a cookie cutter almost. And I was wondering if today it would still be sticky enough to use. And it seems to be working just fine, which is good. I was also worried that the actual snowflake would not be sticky still. But oh boy, it is. Whatever chemicals they have on here, I still smell quite strongly. So the glue on here is quite powerful. And that's good because now I can finish this craft. Now I'm working on these circular ends of the snowflake, which go a little bit faster than the diamonds. And then I'll start to move towards the interior of this smaller snowflake within this one large snowflake. There's not really a method to my madness, to the way I'm filling this one in. Just, whatever I fancy, really, I'm doing. Just kind of fun. To not go in with an exact plan, but just to see where my impulse takes me. These two are a bit on top of each other. There we go. So I finished up this snowflake here. It looks really cool. I think it's going to look even cooler once we have all of these D diamonds in, which I believe are a very pretty white color with a reflective pearlescent, I guess, shimmer on top. I think that's going to look really cool, the contrast. Once we have those on. It's going me continue now. Maybe I'll do the snowflake next. Yep. Got a little runaway. No worries. Doing this craft with the stylist is making me think about all of the jobs that require this precision and nimble quality and agility with your hands for long hours. Like seamstresses, people who do needle work or crochet. I mean, surgeons, I would add. People who are working on machines with intricate small parts. It really is an impressive skill to me. People also who are in surgery for 12 hours working with sometimes very tiny computer or robot hands or equipment. It's just very impressive to me. This is for fun and there are zero stakes. And, yet it requires a certain amount of attention. I can't even imagine doing it for long periods of time with sometimes incredible stakes and, for long periods. We've completed this little section of the snowflake, and then I'm gonna work on this outside shading. And then we're going to be able to move on to another color, which is very exciting. I'm kind of tempted. I really want to do D so that I can see what a completed snowflake will look like, but something about going out of order doesn't make me feel good. I feel conflicted about going out of order. Isn't that silly? But that is how I feel. I'll probably end up just going in order. Maybe there's a reason you're supposed to go in a certain order. Or maybe there's not, I don't know. but yeah, I'll probably end up just going in order. I wonder if the other diamonds are... I have them off to the side here, and we'll look in a moment, but if they're... They seem to probably be a similar shape, similar, yeah, in size. That would be cool to do one where, you know, certain diamonds are smaller than others. That could add a really interesting textural variety to a piece, I think. Lost one. Hey, good thing it landed right on an A. Can just put it in right there. Ah! Oh, it's on the run. Okay, well, it's gonna stay there then. As long as it ends up in the right spot, it's fine with me. Oh, this is really starting to come together. Flip over some more of these onto the right side. When there's a row of them that are all on the right side, it's perfect. Okay, let's go from there. See how this whole row, they're all on the right side? Good job, you guys. Good job, my little diamonds. There seems to be a little hair on my stylus. Take that off. I do live with two cute little kitties who might make an appearance on the channel at some point. But they're away right now with their mother, my roommate. They're very, very cute. Artemis is a orange kitty who's about 3 years old, I believe. And then Persephone is a cute little gray kitty who I believe is around 5-ish. And they're the best, they're the cutest. But sometimes when I am working at my desk, they like to come up and say hello and hang out. So maybe one day, if I'm at my desk making a video, you might see them or hear them more likely. Artemis isn't very talkative, but Persephone is very expressive, so you probably hear her before you see her. See, here it looks though like maybe the B ones are smaller. At least their marking on the actual snowflake is smaller. I guess we'll see in a second when we pull the bag out if it's small or not. I'm gonna move this one in a little bit. There we go. Alright, and now we've just got this last section, and then we'll be complete with section A. That's exciting. Oh no, we've had a runaway. I can put that right there. Stick on. Okay, I think we're done with A. Let's do one more overview and make sure we're not missing any. I think with that we are complete. So I'm gonna grab this baggie and put the rest of these blue beads in here. And now, in the future, if I ever need some dark blue navy beads, got some. Let's move on. Now I guess looking at these, oh yes, the D are a bit bigger, but they have more height to them actually. Whereas I think B, C, and A are pretty close. I think B and C are the flattest, the smallest, and then A might be a little bit bigger. And then D is the biggest. So let's tear off B. And dump these into our caddy. I said in the last video that these remind me of nerds. I'm realizing I actually meant Pop Rocks. Is that what they're called? The candy that yeah, Pop Rocks that pop and fizz in your mouth. That's what they really remind me of. Don't eat these though. You certainly would not want to eat any of these, that's for sure. they're not going to taste very good, and your body's not going to like them very much, that's for sure. I haven't had Pop Rocks in so long. I don't even know. I guess they still make them. I need to try some soon. Well, not try. Have them again. Okay, so B. Let's first take a little scan of where some bees are gonna live. This whole big snowflake seems to be oh, it seems like maybe the highlights or parts of this snowflake are B and parts are C. Same thing with this snowflake over here. It's a mix of B and C. And the same thing I'm finding again over here. Okay, so the rest of these three big snowflakes, this small one is mostly C, but these three big snowflakes are going to be a mixture of B and C, so I really need to lock in for this one and make sure that I'm not accidentally putting down any B diamonds where there should be C's. I think I'm up for the challenge. God, I should hope I'm able to do it. But looking at the bag, the D diamonds look really beautiful. I'm so excited to put those on. Saving the best for last, definitely. It seems that the bees are maybe the highlights of these snowflakes because the C diamonds are a little bit darker. I enjoy this shade though, kind of like a milky, pale blue, a pastel blue, very gorgeous. Maybe like a Tiffany blue. Makes me think of, funnily enough, yes, winter, but also of spring. The pastel reminds me of Easter colors, you know, all the pastels and the decorations and clothing and decor. I love Easter colors, pale blues and lilacs, pinks, yellow. Ooh. Some of my favorite colors. So we're already done this snowflake already. I think we might kind of fly through the B section because there seems to be less of the B diamonds, at least compared to what we started off with, the A diamonds. I'm certainly ready for spring. I say as I'm still inside my apartment looking out at about, I would say like 1.5 feet of snow. I love the winter, but by the end of February, I think even us winter lovers have started to have enough and have started to long for longer days and warmer weather, slower sunsets, or I guess just later sunsets. And grass and plants and greenery. I'm really excited to go to the park once it's nice out and just sit outside for as long as possible. think in New York or any major city, it's especially hard because a lot of the culture, a lot of your daily life is about not being in your apartment. And certainly when it's nice out, I'm spending long days outside of my apartment. The apartment is just like not really the center of your life a lot of times. And then sometimes, for example, when there's a snowstorm, or just the winter in general, spending a lot more time inside, in a smaller space with, I'm lucky I have these two beautiful big windows in my bedroom, but not always the most ideal conditions if you're living in a big city with, a competitive housing, or a dire housing market. So I just can't wait for spring to be outside again and not cooped up in my little apartment. Could we possibly be done B? I feel like we flew through that. But I think so. I'm not seeing B anywhere else. Okay. I think we're all good on B. These are a tad darker than the blue, than the B, I mean, if you can see that. Oh, I like that. And that actually did a pretty good job of lining them up. Okay. Little Diamond Craft pro tip for you all. If you find yourself doing one of these in the future, I would recommend it. They're quite fun. Okay, so you can see there's a very slight variation between the C and the B colored diamonds, but this is gonna, oh, that was a D. See? Have to be careful. Oh no. Oh no! I can't let this slide, I'm afraid. Oh. Okay, so this I'm just gonna move forward onto the C. As I was saying, I think this is gonna be a very subtle difference that makes a large impact on the end result. The variety of shades is going to be really pretty. Oh, forgot one. These are just a slightly more blue diamond, a little less pale, a bit cooler in tone. can see this diamond, or this snowflake, excuse me, it's really starting to take shape. So I'm just going to plug away at this for a bit. If you see me mess up, don't worry about it. If you see me make a mistake, don't worry about it. We're all gonna be okay. Now this one is mini. This is like a little runt diamond. Sorry to this diamond, but I'm gonna have to put her to the side so she doesn't mess things up. I hate to say it, but we are looking for uniformity here. In this case, you are gonna have to conform. We want everyone to look the same for the purposes of this experiment, so she's beautiful and she's valid, but she's gotta go. She's not gonna work here. Got another little runt. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that. We have these little pieces that aren't diamonds, but are mixed in with them. But again, I'm gonna have to put off to the side. We've got another. Interesting. Interesting why I've only really found them with the C group. I wonder. We have this snowflake complete. Like I said, the difference between the B and the C is very subtle, but it's there. Gonna move on to this C space up here, and this snowflake. getting better at making sure, they're all the right way. I'm learning. There are some things about winter I'm gonna miss, though. I love when you're in a hot restaurant or bar or wherever you may be, and then you step out and the cold breeze hits you. I love that. I love going on walks when it's cold out, getting all bundled up, and going on a walk in the, late morning or the afternoon, getting a little cup of tea somewhere. I do really love that. Reading by a cozy fire. Just cuddling in general with a cute little kitty or with a cute little someone in the winter can just be so nice with a movie or a book. And then I love the holidays as well. The holidays can be an interesting time. Or what's a better word than interesting? A more specific word? The holidays, although nostalgic, can be quite fraught emotionally, especially if you're returning home or you have people visiting. It can be quite a reflective time too, if you're going home or if you're not going home. It can be just a very time where things are swirling around from your past, your present, and your future. And then there's this expectation, I feel like, of a certain gaiety and, celebration that I think feels overwhelming to a lot of people. But at its core for me, the holidays are just about spending time with people that you love, being grateful for, what your life is. And there's lots of great food and sweet treats, so I do really enjoy the holidays. And that's something I'm gonna miss about winter, or the winter holidays. And I do love snow. Even though at this moment I'm a little bit tired of it, because we've had, a decent amount. And in the city, if you live somewhere where people don't love to shovel, it can be a journey getting to where you need to go. I do love it, and I'm gonna miss it once it starts to get hot out. I'll remember her fondly. How about that? One thing I'm not gonna miss about winter, though, is the illness. I got quite sick this year. Maybe like the sickest I've ever been from a cold or a flu. I got the flu right around Christmas, actually. And I was so sick. I was in bed with a fever for about 3 or 4 days. And it just wasn't getting better, so I went to the doctor finally and got a bunch of medication, and then started to feel better. But yeah, the winter flu and the winter cold, not gonna miss that at all, that's for sure. Here we go. Success. Ooh. Okay, well it hopped over to another C, so I guess that's fine. Fine with me. Oh no, that grip just went down. Slide that back up. See, that dot seems to be a little bit smaller. This one's kind of a rump too. I'm gonna take this off. Just want all of them to be the same uniform size. My eye goes straight towards that one because of its smaller size, and I don't want that. And this one's a little bit bigger. It has like a little flap or edge to it. I don't want to be too critical, but these C diamonds, man, there's been a couple of defective ones in here. A and B didn't have any problems, but I'm on the lookout with C. Okay, got a couple more over here. In the center. This is gorge. These are going to be so pretty once we put the big white D diamonds over here. here to finish up with our C diamonds. This one's a bit smaller too. Where did it go? This one. Put that off to the side. Keep going. Realizing that my wax inside the stylist, I think, might be getting a little less sticky. So I think before we go to the D diamonds, I might put a new wax center in that. I don't think I showed that part in part 1 of this video series, so hopefully I'll be able to show you that before we start the D diamonds. I love that one just by itself, it's so cute. See what I mean? Diamond dots are not sticking as well to the stylist anymore. I've only got a few C left, so I'm hoping I can finish that before I change it over. Gorgeous. And our last little section, I believe, is over here. A whole circle of C's. do one last look over, but I think we might be complete with our sea diamonds. This little snowflake here looks gorgeous. Oh, I'm missing C. C, good thing we did this check over. Perfect, perfect. We can always come back later and, fill something in if we realize a diamond is